Let's go next to Dev from Syracuse, New York. Dev, welcome to the David Pakman Show. What's on your mind today?
Hi, David. I've got a question for you. You
Sure.
can hear me all right,
I
right?
can hear you fine.
All right. Well, Syracuse, I don't know if you know much about Syracuse, upstate New York. It is a pretty mixed place, but probably a little more leaning to the right
Okay.
in general. Lots of suburbs and country farmer areas. So I would describe myself as a progressive independent, and I know titles are a difficult thing, but I recently became a firearm owner,
Okay.
and I was wondering what your opinion is on personal firearm use in the context of a tool that might be used for some things in the future. I kind of look at it like an EpiPen.
Right.
It's something that I never want to use. I'm not really a hunter, but I want to have it available in a situation that may occur where it would be useful.
Well, listen, you bring up a really interesting point, and I have a lot of friends who are progressive gun owners, many, many, many friends. I've opted never to talk on the show about whether or not I own firearms. Like I've made it
Fair.
clear I support certain rules and I've said we have a Second Amendment, but we have to do something about the gun. Like people know but I've sort of like stopped short of saying exactly like what I do or don't have, just because there doesn't seem to be any advantage to that. And if I said exactly what I do or don't have, I just don't know if there's any win there. But one
Agreed.
thing that is very, very compelling to me is any scenario that is a hypothetical scenario that comes up in which the right wingers have all or most of the guns, that doesn't sound good. Even if I think we are much better off reducing the number of firearms out there by 95%.
Oh yeah.
And like, for example, even if we could limit them to people who demonstrate that they're for hunting use or it's for target shooting and you keep it at the range in a safe that's there, or if you can demonstrate an actual need for self-defense, not the vague, I've got 50, like, okay, maybe that would be the ideal thing, reduce the number of guns out there by 95%. We don't have that situation. And therefore, I don't really love the idea of the right wingers having all the guns. And what you're talking about, these contingency scenarios, make a lot of sense to me in terms of a motivation to say, I want to own some firearms.
New York is, I don't know all of the gun laws across the country, but seems like New York is one of the most strict gun laws areas in any of the states, and I definitely think that that's a good thing. Running into roadblocks when you're trying to purchase a firearm, even as a safe, normal citizen, so to speak, I think is a good thing. It shouldn't be easy to get a firearm. Let
I
me ask you
agree.
just
And listen, in
one
New
more
York
question.
City, I'll just say it this way. I have experienced, it could be for friends. I have experienced the New York City process for the handgun permit, and it's not easy, but it is possible. And if you do it right, then it's a permit that you're able to get.
Let me ask you just this one related question, and I'll let you go. I had seen an idea that I think could appeal to the right wing as well after they get over the fact that it's a change, which is difficult for them to process. It was essentially like an evolving gun license where for each firearm that you wanted to own, or even just fire, you had to qualify on that particular firearm, and therefore that license would almost be like collecting. It would tap into that kind of psyche of collecting, and you could
That's a
show it
super
off to your
interesting idea.
friends.
That's a super interesting. I
I'll
mean,
let you go there. Thank you,
commercial
David.
pilots have to qualify on the planes that they fly. I think that's a super interesting idea. Dev from Syracuse, great to hear from you. Very, very interesting.